Welcome back, everyone. Diving deep into everything Cowboys as we unpack the latest unofficial depth chart just released ahead of the preseason kickoff. There's a lot to chew on here, especially when it comes to who's starting, who's competing for spots, and what kind of roles we might expect to see on the field. Right off the bat, one of the most intriguing battles is unfolding at the wide receiver position, where the depth chart shows an asterisk between Jalen Tolbert and Cavante Turpin. For those not familiar, that asterisk usually means the coaches aren't ready to name a clear starter, which tells us this position group is still very much in flux. When it comes to the Cowboys' base personnel packages, particularly the standard 3 wide receiver set, it looks like Tolbert is likely the default choice as the number 3 receiver. But that doesn't mean Turpin is locked out or insignificant. Far from it. Turpin's versatility is a huge asset. He's not just lining up as a wideout, he's also used in the backfield as a running back in certain formations, which could mean fewer snaps on the outside, but potentially more touches overall. This kind of dual threat usage makes Turpin a unique weapon that the Cowboys might lean on heavily in specialized packages, especially on third downs or in no-back sets, where speed and agility create matchup nightmares for defenses. Tolbert's role might feel more traditional as a receiver, but Turpin's dynamic skill set might actually see him involved more frequently when considering snap counts and impact plays. When you think about the team's skill players in a broader sense, Turpin's ability to line up in multiple spots gives him a shot to be one of the most deployed players despite not having the official starter label. The rest of the receiver depth chart paints a picture of a competitive group with CeeDee Lamb and Jahan Pickens leading the way, followed by Tolbert or Turpin in that contested slot. Behind them, names like Jalen Crowropper, Jalen Mingo, Tan Holden, Ryan Fenoy, and Jalen Brooks all appear, though the exact order might shift as the preseason progresses and coaches get a better feel for who's making an impact. Jalen Brooks, for instance, has been getting special teams reps, which can be a crucial factor in securing a roster spot. Special teams can often be the difference between making the squad or landing on the practice squad, so Brooks' presence there definitely strengthens his case. Now moving to the defense, the depth chart at defensive end offers some surprises. Marshawn Kneeland is listed as a starter opposite Micah Parsons, which fits well with his reputation as a run stopper and disruptor on the line. Tyrus Wheat being listed ahead of Peyton Turner raised some eyebrows, especially since Turner is often viewed as a key player. This might be a strategic move or a reflection of current health and practice performance. Donovan Asaku, meanwhile, finds himself down the list, which seems odd given his potential and previous contributions. The defensive front seems stacked on the left side, with Kneeland, Wheat, Turner, and Houston forming a group that could rotate extensively to keep fresh legs on the field. On the right side, it's a bit thinner, with Parsons anchoring the spot alongside Dante Fowler, Sam Williams, and Isaku, but it's less clear who will ultimately stick. Injuries and performance during preseason will be critical in determining the final lineup. The cornerback situation also deserves attention. Kaman Hall is slated to start at the nickel corner position with Israel Muamu behind him. This suggests the Cowboys might be leaning on Hall more than some expected, which could be a concern given his injury history and prior roster battles. Ideally, the best case scenario would have Don Bland taking over the nickel role given his skill set, but if Bland ends up on the outside or sidelined, the secondary depth might be tested. The Cowboys' outside corner group has been plagued by injuries and inconsistency, with key players like Kyler Elam and Callan Carson nursing injuries, while younger players such as Bruce Harmon and Troy Pride have had mixed performances. Zion, shoulders primarily a safety, has been used in nickel packages, indicating the team's willingness to experiment with versatility in the secondary. Linebacker is another area where competition is fierce. The third linebacker spot appears to be up for grabs, with Jack Sanborn and Kenneth Murray taking most of the first team reps. Morris Leafolu and Dion Clark are in the mix as well, both vying for additional playing time and possibly a roster spot. The linebacker group seems relatively settled at the top, but the back end of the depth chart could be fluid, especially with some players on the physically unable to perform list. The flexibility of these linebackers to play multiple roles could give the Cowboys an edge in rotations and packages, helping them adapt to various offensive looks. Offensively, the line is somewhat banged up, but still shows a clear hierarchy. The starters are set with the usual names: Gayton, Smith, BB, Booker, and Steele. But the second team line features several younger players and backups like Nathan Thomas, TJ Bass, Brock Hoffman, Sadiq Charles, and Hakeem Adonai. Hoffman has been getting significant reps at left guard due to Tyler Smith's injury, which could shake things up as the preseason unfolds. There's a question mark around how much the first team will actually play in preseason games, as coaches often want to limit snaps for key veterans to avoid injuries. This strategy means we'll likely see more from the backups, who will need to prove themselves ready to step in if called upon during the regular season. On the quarterback front, the depth chart remains straightforward, with Dak Prescott firmly as the starter, backed up by Joe Milton and Will Grier. It's unlikely we will see Prescott on the field during preseason games, as the team wants to protect their franchise quarterback from unnecessary hits. Milton's health is a bit of a concern, and if he gets hurt, that could push Grier into some unexpected playing time, which might create some tense moments if they're forced to rely on a less experienced player in a game setting. The nightmare scenario here would be both Milton and Grier unavailable, leaving the Cowboys scrambling for a suitable emergency quarterback, which might even mean turning to a position player with some passing ability to fill in. The running back situation features Javonte Williams leading the pack, followed by Miles Sanders, Jaden Blue, Deuce Vaughn, and Phil Maffa. The hierarchy seems set with Blue over Vaughn, which aligns with their performances so far. Hunter Liskey is expected to make the team, filling a versatile role that blends fullback, running back, and tight end responsibilities. This kind of hybrid player is increasingly valuable in today's NFL, offering flexibility in formations and special teams. At tight end, the depth chart largely mirrors what we've seen before. Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker hold the top spots, with Revan Spandauer sidelined due to injury. John Stevens appears to have edged out Princeton Fant, although recent practice performances suggest that could shift again. The team also carries a couple of undrafted free agents, Ronaldo Farweather and Tyler Neville, who are fighting to make an impression during preseason reps. Defensive tackle depth is an interesting topic too, with Osa Odigizua, Solomon Thomas, and Ernest Brown rounding out the primary group. Brown is often overlooked but could be a valuable rotational piece. Other players like Tommy Akumbasode have been quiet so far, but preseason games will be critical for them to show what they can do. The line shows some positional flexibility, with players shifting between 3-tech and 1-tech roles to maximize defensive schemes. Safety is another spot where the Cowboys' depth chart has raised some eyebrows. Maris Bell is listed behind Malik Hooker, which might not be entirely accurate given Bell's strong safety tendencies, and Juan Thomas's capability to handle free safety duties. The team also has Mike Smith and Elijah Clark as options, and Zion Shoulders is expected to see some safety snaps despite being used more frequently in nickel roles. This group is likely to evolve over the course of the preseason as players prove themselves on the field. Special teams also play a crucial role in shaping the roster. Brandon Aubrey, Brian Anger, and Trent Sieg are among the specialists expected to make the team, though the long snapper position remains a quiet but vital part of the squad. Return duties are one of the more fluid areas, with the kick and punt, returners likely to change as coaches test different options. Cavante Turpin probably won't be returning kicks during the preseason, especially with some players nursing injuries like W. Thomas and Deuce Vaughn. Jalen Cropper has taken some reps returning kicks, and there's curiosity around whether Jaden Blue might get a chance as well, although his value as a running back might keep him off returns to avoid injury risk. The absence of Paris Campbell, who was placed on injured reserve and then released, leaves the Cowboys searching for reliable returners among the wide receivers and backs. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Baker Mayfield, the former NFL quarterback known for his outspoken personality and roller coaster career, recently stirred the sports world with a bold statement that has instantly become the subject of rumors and heated debates among fans and analysts alike. In an interview, Mayfield declared with certainty that he would never consider playing for the Dallas Cowboys, one of the most iconic franchises in the league. This unexpected revelation has led to a whirlwind of speculation, with insiders suggesting a variety of underlying reasons for his apparent aversion to the Cowboys. Could it be a personal grudge, a professional misalignment, or simply a strategic career decision? The timing of this statement, coming just as many teams prepare for roster shakeups ahead of the new season, has only fueled the fire. Industry experts are now questioning whether Mayfield's stance might affect potential trade opportunities or contract negotiations in the near future. Some insiders speculate that this refusal might be rooted in the Cowboys' well-known media, pressure, and high expectations, environments that Mayfield might want to avoid given his past challenges with public scrutiny. Others point out that the quarterback might be signaling his preference for a less spotlighted situation where he can rebuild his reputation without the weight of a massive fan base demanding immediate success. In any case, this declaration has undoubtedly added an intriguing twist to Mayfield's already colorful narrative, prompting speculation on where he might end up, if not in Dallas. The murmurs surrounding Baker Mayfield's outright refusal to join the Dallas Cowboys have sent shockwaves through the NFL rumor mill, prompting experts and fans to analyze the potential implications from every possible angle. Some analysts suggest that Mayfield's comments might not just be a personal preference, but a strategic move designed to influence his market value. By publicly ruling out a team as prominent as the Cowboys, he may be attempting to direct interest toward other franchises that align more closely with his ambitions or playing style. Meanwhile, sources close to the quarterback hint that there could be a deeper history or tension between Mayfield and key figures within the Cowboys organization, perhaps dating back to scouting or draft days. If such undercurrents exist, they could explain the strong language used in his declaration. Additionally, Mayfield's complex career trajectory, marked by moments of brilliance alongside periods of instability, might make him wary of joining a team with as intense a spotlight as Dallas, where quarterbacks face constant scrutiny. The Cowboys' fan base and media presence are famously demanding, and insiders believe Mayfield could be trying to avoid a scenario where any misstep becomes headline news, further complicating his efforts to regain a starting role. At the same time, other teams might view his rejection of Dallas as a red flag or a sign of confidence, making him a more intriguing or controversial figure on the trade market. The entire situation is developing rapidly, with betting lines and draft boards potentially shifting based on this bold proclamation. The sports media landscape has been buzzing non-stop since Baker Mayfield's recent interview, in which he emphatically stated he would never play for the Dallas Cowboys. This statement has led to a flurry of conjecture, with insiders speculating about the quarterback's true motivations and what this might mean for his future in the NFL. One theory gaining traction is that Mayfield is trying to distance himself from the Cowboys' notoriously intense football culture and the extreme expectations placed on their quarterbacks, which have historically resulted in short tenures and intense scrutiny. Some insiders argue that Mayfield's public refusal might also be a negotiation tactic, meant to send a clear message to potential suitors about the kinds of teams and situations he finds acceptable. This could signal a desire for a franchise that offers a more patient environment where he can develop without the pressure cooker atmosphere that Dallas is known for. Furthermore, sources suggest that Mayfield's stance could be interpreted as a personal statement about loyalty and identity, possibly reflecting a preference for teams with particular coaching styles or organizational cultures. Analysts continue to debate whether this declaration will close the door on Dallas forever, or if it is more of a temporary stance influenced by current circumstances. As rumors swirl and insiders weigh in, the NFL community remains on high alert, waiting to see how this bold statement will influence the quarterback market, amid the growing speculation following Baker Mayfield's explicit declaration that he would never don the Dallas Cowboys uniform. Conversations within NFL circles have turned to the broader impact this might have on both the player's career and the Cowboys' quarterback search. Sources close to Mayfield hint that his refusal could be based on previous encounters or perceived mismatches with the Cowboys' organizational philosophy. possibly dating back to draft evaluations or team culture clashes. This has sparked a wave of rumors suggesting that Mayfield might prefer franchises with a more player-centric approach, where the quarterback is given significant influence over the offensive system. Meanwhile, Dallas Cowboys insiders are reportedly unfazed by the statement, with some even viewing it as a standard negotiating stance that quarterbacks often take when weighing potential destinations. However, league watchers note that such a public and categorical dismissal of a high-profile team like the Cowboys is unusual and might complicate Mayfield's chances of finding a starting role in the upcoming season. The Cowboys, for their part, continue to explore multiple options at quarterback, but the door may now be closed to one of the most talked about free agents on the market. Amid these swirling rumors, fans and analysts alike are left to ponder whether Mayfield's outright rejection of Dallas is a definitive career boundary or simply a headline-grabbing move in a complex NFL landscape. Finally, the implications of Baker Mayfield's resolute stance against joining the Dallas Cowboys have sparked widespread debate across sports media platforms, fan forums, and betting circles. While some interpret his comments as a clear signal of intent, others believe it could be a calculated maneuver designed to preserve his professional dignity and steer his career path to more favorable opportunities. Industry insiders speculate that Mayfield's refusal might influence other teams' perceptions of him, potentially raising questions about his flexibility and willingness to adapt to different organizational cultures. At the same time, there is speculation that this announcement may have been influenced by recent interactions with Cowboys management or coaching staff. Although no direct confirmation has surfaced, the timing of the statement just before the frenzy of trade discussions and free agency signings suggests a strategic move to clarify his position and perhaps avoid unwelcome distractions. Meanwhile, fan bases across the league are engaged in lively debates about whether Mayfield's decision signals a loss for the Cowboys or a sign that the quarterback is holding out for the ideal situation. As these rumors continue to evolve, the NFL offseason is poised for further surprises, with Baker Mayfield's future trajectory being one of the most compelling storylines to follow. Whether this bold proclamation will be a defining moment or a passing headline remains to be seen, but it undeniably adds a new layer of intrigue to the quarterback carousel heading into the next season. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.